You're watching Dealing Room, and on top of that Dealing Room thing, you see one bull and bear facing the other thing. So today, actually, a lot of the guys are with the bull, but I'll also share some bear guys with you. So first of all, I'm just going to list. If you have a paper and pencil, please write it down, because I remember being in third grade and writing everything down. Because even for that test you needed. Now here you're dealing with serious, really serious big-time investors. Just think of the force that is, aligned against you in this market, and you will see why writing is important. So just keep a paper and pencil, maybe also on your phone. J&K Bank, I'm giving you all the good charts and then we'll talk about it. Corporation Bank, Dena Bank, IOB, UCO, Manappuram, DCB, M&M Financial Services, City Union, Bajaj Financial Services, PNB, PFC, Bajaj Finance, Dewan Housing, Muthoot, Dhanalakshmi, TCI Finance, Lakshmi Vilas. On real estate, HDL, India Bulls, Prestige. The charts are not fully clean, but I'll talk about them. Soba, DLF, Construction, GVK, HCC, Patel, MBL Infra, CNCU, and Pharma, Strides, Sun, Orbindo, Torrent, Cadila, Glenmark, Jubilant, Ipca, Lupin, Sun Pharma, Cipla, Pfizer, Alembic, Dr. Reddy's, Auto, Bajaj Auto, Hero, Honda, TVS, Steel, Steel Authority of India, Tata Steel, Mahamaya Steel, Rama Steel Tube, Auto Ancillaries, Jai Bharat, Autoline, and Precol. I'm sorry the list is so long, but that's exactly what's happening in the market. Are all of them clean charts? No. Now on the bear side, Yes Bank. I will check the futures and options position for you, but you don't pull 1 billion QIP off the market. I mean, something happened there. I don't know what it is, but it did. Ruchit, good morning. We can look at the index, but yesterday I actually found the index getting a massive amount of support from things that are not on the index. So banks, real estate, construction, pharma, auto ancillary, steel, paper. What does that say to you about the market, Ruchit? At these levels, when everybody has become a doubter that there's no quote-unquote valuation, the market's actually gaining even more speed.
Very good morning, Ashu. Ashu, probably if I look at the positional charts of Nifty, after giving a breakout of that, after giving a breakout of 1.5 months consolidation last week, markets had given 4 gaps post that breakout. Now, if we go according to the gap theories, then the first gap is always a breakout gap, and then we have running gaps continuously. And then at the last we see exhaustion gap, on which usually the Nifty opens gap up, but fills that gap on the same day. Yesterday day before yesterday was one of the session wherein, in spite of a gap up opening, we had seen that the follow-up momentum was not there. Secondly, if you observe last two months of data, then there's a formation of a megaphone pattern, which is a sort of a broadening pattern on Nifty daily charts. The markets are trading now at the higher end of that pattern. So the thing is that going ahead, the third thing that we are looking at is the market breadth. Market breadth definitely continues to be very robust, with advances outnumbering declines by a huge number. So considering all these three things on Nifty, we are anticipating that the markets would now remain in a narrow range. That is, Nifty would now remain in a narrow range. We are not expecting it to go above 9,000 immediately. 8980 to 9,000 is a resistance on the Nifty, and on the lower side 8840 would be the support level. So I think Nifty would consolidate in this narrow range of 8840 to 9,000. But at the same time, since the market breadth is quite positive, the mid caps and the small cap would continue with the bull run. So in case if anyone is looking from short-term trading perspective, there is no gain. I don't think there would be much gains in the by trading in index now. But yes, individual stocks would continue to participate, and mid caps and small caps are likely to continue the outperformance vis-a-vis the index.
Okay, Mohit, good morning. What's your take on the index?
Well, on the index, we look good. So far, the market is still strong. We're still trading above levels of 88.50, which is the previous low for the couple of days back, and a strong support zone. I think we should head towards 9100 and then even 9200 in the coming few days. It's got good support from the Bank Nifty as well, which is on course to head towards 21,000. So on the whole, very bullish. The bias is on the up.
Okay, Rishit, let's get some of your strategies going this morning as well. What are some of the buy calls you're looking at?
Yeah, so as I said, we are expecting more of a mid-cap names to outperform now in the market. Hence, I have two buys in mid-caps. One is Cox and Kings. Cox and Kings, this stock was consolidating near its 89 EMA support on the daily charts. But in last 2-3 trading sessions, we have seen the stock has started moving higher from that support. And also that is this up move has been supported with quite a good volume. So I think this stock could do well in next 2 to 3 trading sessions. From 1 week's perspective, we are expecting this stock to head higher towards 233. So one can buy Cox and Kings at current levels around 205 to 200 range, keeping stop loss below 190 for target of 233. Second pick we are, which we are expecting to outperform the markets is Fortis Healthcare. The stock, after consolidating about 6 to 8 months, has recently given a breakout with very good volumes. And again, in last 6-8 trading sessions, the prices have again corrected, and the resistance which was there has been now acting as a support. So we are expecting this another bounce back from this support levels over here. So one can buy Fortis with stop loss below 176.5, expecting a target of 193. And I have one more short call, that is in LIC Housing Finance. Now, although the broader trend of LIC Housing is still up, we have seen higher top, higher bottom formation in LIC Housing Finance, but we are observing some bearish harmonic patterns on daily as well as weekly charts. A harmonic pattern called deep crab has been formed on the weekly charts, whereas ABCD pattern on the daily charts. So we are expecting some sort of corrective move within an uptrend in this stock. So one can go short in LIC Housing Finance, keeping a stop loss above 595. However, the targets are not aggressive on the lower side, considering the broader trend of the stock. For a target of 566, one can go short from 2 to 3 days of time frame perspective.
Hemant Shukral is the head of derivative desk at Aditya Birla Money. He joins us right now. Hemant, good morning. Thanks very much for taking the time. Seeing you after a long time. I hope you come more frequently. But I guess the markets have been keeping you busy. Anyway, let me start out first with banks. And Hemant, we've seen a significant rally in some of the public sector banks. In fact, they've been doing way better than private sector banks. Could you share with us 2 or 3 public sector banking stocks for which the broker would not give me a margin call the next morning?
See, first of all, good morning, Ashu. I think, Ashu, the way things are proving on, you will see some profit taking coming in the heavyweights, whether it is PSU or private banks. For the reason I am suggesting that is that there is definitely some profit taking from FIs, the figures that I can make out from last 2 days, the way they are selling stock futures. So why I am giving this statement first is because you may not see the mid-cap PSU banks coming under pressure straight away. It may be the PSU banks or the private banks on the heavyweight side which may see some profit taking. So when you comment on PSU banks, I would still say that mid-cap PSU banks are looking stronger. So something like an Oriental Bank or an Bank of India, till it holds above 118, we have a buy call and we still feel that it can test 130 on the upside. Similarly, something like a Union Bank, which we feel has given a fresh breakout on the upside in last 2 days, we feel that if it can be accumulated with a stop loss of 142 and a target of 161 on the upside. So mid-cap PSU banks are still feeling still seeing some buying at the lower levels, or their charts are looking stronger. But where I am getting worried in Bank Nifty is that one, Bank Nifty has run up, it's getting an overbought zone, and secondly, the private banks yesterday saw some fresh shorts getting up from the higher levels. So I am not sure that the heavyweights can continue the journey they have. We feel that Yes Bank has weakened a bit. Obviously, it's backed up by some news, but I feel that Yes Bank can come down further from these current levels also. Similarly, ICICI Bank we feel has touched the target of 282. Now it can retrace back 268, 267. When I'm saying that they can come down by 3, 4 or 5%, that doesn't mean that bull run is over. It's just that I feel that in a short term they are getting overbought and some correction is bound to happen. So better to wait out for big heavyweights, private banks, and add at lower levels. Whereas mid-cap PSU banks, I am still bullish, especially on the 2 stocks that we discussed, Bank of India and Union Bank.
Richard, what's your take on the financial space? What are you looking at there?
Yeah, among the financials, even we are expecting some sort of consolidation now to happen in the large cap names. So probably we are not that positive on the large cap names just from short term trading perspective. But I think I think the mid caps would continue to outperform the markets. From finance, Manappuram Finance is one of the stock that we are looking at amongst the mid cap space, which looks quite positive. The high top, high bottom structure still continues, and we have seen that trend following indicators are still indicating the further continuation of this uptrend. I think the stock could go further higher up to 102 levels. So amongst the mid cap space, one can look to buy Manappuram Finance with stop loss below 85, expecting a target of 102.
Ruchit, let's take what's happening in pharmaceutical. I'm trying to see if we can get an emerging trend here. Can we put up Stride Shasoon, Sun Pharma, Aurobindo, just 1 year charts, Torrent? Let's see if there is a move coming through. Maybe these are all, if I may call it, breakout stocks. These are not stocks like financial services where there is a clear trend. But look, breakouts Torrent actually has got a pretty decent trend. Can we just bring up Aurobindo, Cadila, Glenmark, Jubilant Life Sciences has a very good trend. So there are some stocks that are starting to come out of the shell, let's say an egg shell, and some of them are already out there and have become, fully grown, so to speak, in terms of a trend. Then let's look at Pfizer, Alembic, Dr. Reddy. So this is a very interesting sector. I'm not going to again get into the fundamentals of this sector, but it's a very interesting sector from the perspective that the entire sector may have been starting to break out. Unlike technology, because that's not part of all this. Ruchit, a quick comment on pharmaceuticals?
So recently we have seen that all these pharma names have underperformed the markets. But last 2-3 trading sessions we have seen some good amount of volumes coming in on the up move. Specifically in the large cap names, if you see Lupin, then the stock has again started moving higher from its retracement support of 78.6% of its previous up move. And even firstly, you should, if you observe the Nifty Pharma Index, then after consolidating near its support for about 10 to 12 trading session, we saw yesterday quite a good positive momentum picking up again. So I think this is one of the space where even large cap names could outperform in next few trading sessions. So definitely mid cap and the large cap names from the pharmaceuticals would do well. So it's good for the traders in case if anyone is looking for short term trading. Names which are likely to do well in this space, some of the names which I could recollect is amongst the large caps are Sun Pharma and Lupin, that could do well. Amongst the mid-cap names, I think Torrent Pharma could continue its up move. Even Aurobindo Pharma has some sort of resistance coming in around this 810, 815. So if in today's trading session, if it manages to break above 815, then it would be a broader triangular breakout. So I think Aurobindo Pharma, Torrent Pharma, Lupin, Sun Pharma, these are some of the names which I could recollect that are likely, which we are expecting that likely to do well in short term.
Hemant, what about some of the metal counters? We've seen them on a bit of a roll of late. Steel and also some of the others in the space. NMDC, for instance, some of the PSUs. Tata Steel's looking really good yesterday. Hindustan Copper, Hindalco, the entire pack really. What's looking interesting there? Okay, we'll go back across to Hemant in just a moment. So we've been looking at certain pockets that have been looking strong. The metal and commodity space was one. We've also been tracking some of the gains on the auto counters. Let's get Mohit in on that as well. Mohit, from the auto pack, we've seen a strong run, and a lot of these stocks are already trading at high levels, not just the heavyweights or the two-wheelers, but even the tire stocks. So what would you suggest there?
In the auto pack, what I like are the two-wheelers. Bajaj Auto is looking really good in the charts and can head higher towards levels of 3150. That's a buy with a stop loss at 3050. Also, Maruti is one that was strong in trade yesterday and can continue to move higher towards levels of 5600 to 5700. That's a buy with a stop loss at 5450. Amongst the other auto pack also, what I like is Eicher Motors. It's moved up smartly in trade yesterday, and this can head higher towards levels of 24,200. This is a buy with a stop loss at 23,000. So all in all, the large caps in the auto space are looking good, and there is further upside in all of them.
Hemant, we were talking about some of the metal names and the kind of run-up we've seen on some of those counters within the metals pack. Tata Steel in particular yesterday, for example. Anything there that's looking interesting to you from a trading perspective?
See, metals on specific stocks, I would say I'm very bullish. I will not be really trading in Vedanta right now because of the news and the merger issues. But Tata Steel, I think, has again moved above 400. What was interesting was the way 390 put writers picked up yesterday. I still feel the run-up is not over. So Tata Steel, you will see moving towards 415, 420, and just keep a stop loss of 395. I think Tata Steel is one of the best bets in the metal counters right now. And because already JSW Steel, JSPL, they have already moved up very sharply and off late. So I think Tata Steel has to do a catch-up rally also. So it actually qualifies on both the data points. So one, the way the open interest added up. Second, the way the put writers have moved up. And third, it's not played up to the same as the other metal stocks is. So I think Tata Steel, we will see 1 or 2 days more of rally with a target of 415 to 420 on the upside.
Okay, another group of stocks that we want to take a look at is real estate. So Mohit, maybe we don't, again, I'm trying to look for the next breakout sector. So I just want to bring up HDIL, India Bulls. So if you just look at the chart, it may not give you an indication that they're on an uptrend, but I've usually seen, actually HDIL does look like it was in an uptrend, but I've usually seen that when the markets get very, very bullish, the next sector is always real estate, and so maybe that's where the rally is going. India Bulls Real Estate, Prestige, Soba, DLF. Can we just put up all those one-year charts? What?
Well, on real estate, a few stocks are looking good. Prestige is looking good and can head higher towards levels of 220 next, so that can be bought with a stop loss at 204. Also, Anantraj is one that's standing out and is looking good on the chart, so this can head higher as well towards levels of 65 once it passes 65, also 70. So this is a buy with a stop loss at 59. I'm going to club a few infra stocks in this space as well. So HCC is one that's looking good on the charts and can head higher towards levels of 40 next. So this is a buy with a stop loss at 34. And lastly, even IRB Infra saw a really good up move in trade yesterday. This can also head higher towards levels of 265. So this is a buy with a stop loss at 245.
Okay, from the mid-cap space, Mohit, some of the other picks, because we saw quite a few of those counters running up yesterday. What else should one keep in mind today?
Well, there were a bunch of mid-caps that were doing really good in trade yesterday. So we'll start off with VIP Industries. That's looking good in the charts and can head higher towards levels of 145. That's a buy with a stop loss at 130. Also, Nilkamal is one that's given a breakout yesterday, and this can head higher towards levels of 1450. It's a buy with a stop loss at 1320. Omax is one that has a really good chart and can head higher towards levels of 170 to 175, actually 180, and that's a buy with a stop loss at 166. And lastly, a couple of banks that are looking good. One is Lakshmi Vilas Bank, that's seen a good up move in trade yesterday and can head towards levels of 160, so this is a buy with a stop loss at 148. Ashu mentioned City Union Bank, that also is looking good in the charts given a fresh breakout yesterday. This can head towards levels of 142 to 145. It's a buy with a stop loss at 132.
Let's take a very quick break. We'll come back and continue this conversation on the other side. Welcome back. All right, Hemant, let's get some of your strategies going as well, and what you're looking at as we head into trade today.
See, I would be slightly bullish on few stocks, and as Ashu was just mentioning one, I was looking pharma very closely. I think pharma has seen now buying coming back. That is always possible because defenses starts to see buying whenever we see some profit taking coming in the high-end sectors. I think one should start focusing now on pharma more. I will be specially watching something like an Aurobindo Pharma. The stock has seen good delivery based volume yesterday. What was important was the stock managed to sustain above 800 and 805 zones, which was acting as a very stiff resistance. So one can keep a tight stop loss of 790 and keep a target of 840. So Aurobindo Pharma, I am very bullish. Another area which Ashu was just mentioning, real estate. See, real estate, I would like to just mention here, we are more bullish on HDIL for particularly reasons, because it has seen more of long open interest adding up, and it has crossed that 98, 99 zone. So we think that if you can keep a stop loss of 95, this stock is heading towards 107, 108. Having said that, the reason not to choose IB Real was that IB Real has come out of FNO ban because of short covering. There's huge short covering that we have seen. I would really be interested in seeing if IB Real can cross 88 and we can see some long positions get added up. All three majors, DLF, IB Real, HDIL, have seen huge delivery volumes yesterday. But IB Real, as I said, I would be really bullish if it crosses 88 and then keep a stop loss of 85 for a target of 94 on the upside. But HDIL has already given a breakout on the back of good long open interest adding up. So I think that is more suitable for trading benefits. Keep a stop loss of 95 and a target of 108. So both real estate and pharma, I expect follow-up buying to continue for next 2 to 3 trading sessions.
Hemant, now let's just look at the components of the index. Sometimes I get the feeling that in the next few days you may have many stocks which are non-index stocks or don't have a weightage on the index, like pharmaceuticals, construction, real estate, auto ancillaries, really starting to move much higher. But maybe stocks like Yes Bank and some of the other stocks that hold too much weightage in the index actually pulling it down, maybe even including Reliance. Because we can talk about a business, but we also have to look at how the market reacts to a business. And on Jio, the market basically hasn't reacted at all.
See, Ashu, I would put it this way. I think index has to consolidate. Let's see first Nifty, because we did not discuss Nifty. I think Nifty has run up, and if you see all derivative indicators which we usually see, VIX is making a bottom around 12, India VIX. So clearly, and FI started to sell index futures and from last 2 days. Thirdly, if you see, the put call ratio has risen up to 1.21, which is already giving you signals that it's getting into overbought zones. So a lot of derivative indicators have started giving signs that you can't have Nifty running every day. You will see index to consolidate. If you ask me, if you are holding long already, then you should keep a stop loss of 88, 80 on the same. We have not been recommending any fresh longs after Nifty touched 89.50, 89.60 on the upside. I think it's much better to wait out and see. It's much better to enter if Nifty manages to cross 9,000 and show some more courage, rather than trying to enter here. I think Nifty will have to go through a phase of consolidation with a small correction. We feel that Nifty can test 8850, 8800 levels on the downside, then resume rally. So it's better to slightly be careful on the stocks which have already been rallying a lot. So banking and Nifty should be avoided a little bit. Just wait it out. I think we will get one small correction, then start to re-enter. Whereas the stocks which have not performed, that is why pharma, real estate, I would not be even bearish on telecom, because you just mentioned, I think there's huge short positions there. You may see some reversals coming up there. So Arcom, and maybe for that matter Bharti, I can't comment on group companies, but I think there is some room for short covering there also. So I would be looking now for sectors which have not moved at all, rather than looking at sectors which have already moved up sharply.
Okay. Hemant, I'm just wondering, everything seems to have moved up, so where are you seeing the relative value? Hemant? I think we've lost the line there. We'll go back across to him in just a second. All right, Mohit, from the broader markets, We spoke about real estate, but we also had textile stocks on the move. We had specific names, for example, Aptech, Neil Kamal, a couple of those news-driven counters as well. We've been talking about financials. Another one, Cox and Kings, for instance, on the move. SpiceJet, there's of course post-earnings. So lots of action. What else has stood out to you?
Well, Manappuram Finance is one that's looked good in the charts. It's given a fresh breakout yesterday after like 2 weeks of sideways consolidation. So this can head towards levels of 100. It's a buy with a stop loss at 90. Also, DHFL is looking up in a strong trend, and so this can head higher towards levels of 310 to 315. It's a buy with a stop loss at 298. Jagrana is one stock that's looking good in the charts and has given a fresh up move yesterday. This can head higher towards levels of 220. It's a buy with a stop loss at 200. And even RPG Life is one that's looking good in the charts. It's seen a good up move in the last couple of sessions, and this can head higher towards levels of 505, 510. It's a buy with a stop loss at 488.
Okay, Hemant, I was asking you where you found the relative value in the market, given that we have seen. Okay, we've lost the line. We're just heading in for pre-open now, and remember today as well, the SGX has been indicating a pretty steady start. So, I mean, a marginal downtick, but we've been hovering around that 89.50 mark. We haven't managed to hit that new life high, which was just about 70 odd points away above 9,000, but we've been inching closer to it every day. Remember, again, next week we're going to have a few market holidays, so it'll be slightly truncated there, but nonetheless, let's just take a look at how the pre-open shapes up this morning and what are some of the stocks that are going to be on the move today. So on your screens, let's just pull up the index for you and just see how the session's getting underway today. Okay, just opening quotes, just quiet as anticipated. On the Nifty and the Sensex, 8959 there on the Nifty, and Sensex 29,074. Run through some of those banking names, run through a Tata Steel, for example, maybe a Maruti, take a look at some of those stocks and just see how they're shaping up this morning. But overall, the trend is fairly quiet. Yes Bank, let's just pull Yes Bank up as well. On the back of the issue being taken off the table, marginal hit today. Yesterday was where it saw much heavier selling coming in. In fact, Hemant, let's talk about Yes Bank for a moment and get your view in on the counter as well. We've been discussing the fact that the issue's been taken off the table. We saw that cut in the stock yesterday. What's your take? All right. Let me go back to Hemant in a short while. Richard, let's also get a few more of your strategies going this morning from the border markets. Richard?
So from the broader market, from amongst the large cap names, as we spoke about the auto sector, so from the large cap names, as we spoke about the auto sector, we believe that the auto sector would continue to do well. We are quite positive on M&M in this space. The stock has been consolidating since last 1.5 to 2 months. And after this consolidation phase, again, last few trading sessions, we have seen again good amount of volumes have started coming in. So I think this is one of the names which have not performed that well so far, but going ahead could show some good outperformance. On the high side, we are expecting targets of around 1550, 1516 short term. So one can go long in M&M around current levels, keeping a stop loss below 1475, 1470, expecting target of 1550. Also from the real estate space, we are expecting a good up move in next 2 to 3 trading sessions. Although we are quite optimistic more on the mid cap front rather than large cap in this space. Among the mid caps, Anant Raj and Godrej Properties are two stocks which from short term perspective could do well. Anant Raj Industries have been forming this high top high bottom structure, and after consolidation again yesterday we have seen some up move with good amount of volume. So on the high side, keeping a target around 67, one can go long with stop loss below 56. And also Godrej Properties, although this stock has corrected in last few trading sessions, but earlier resistance which was there around 300 and between 340 to 350 is now acting as a support. So I think this is also one of the stock which could move higher from current levels up to 370. So from 2 to 3 days of perspective, one can go long in Godrej Properties, keeping stop loss below 343 for target of 370.
Hemant, I'll just keep everything else aside for a minute because we'll spend lots of time talking about trends, but there are trends and there are cycles, Hemant, and sometimes it just gives, this particular rally gives me the feeling of some kind of an asset class cycle. Maybe it's not the dot-com boom, but maybe it is just that the market reaches a particular point where, absolute return investors, global investors who just buy stock because they can flip it at the next level, start to enter, and that's billions of dollars. Should we treat this rally differently, Hemant? To me, it looks like the index, whatever anybody may say, may actually run into 12, 13,000 on the Nifty.
See, Ashu, I think the overall trend remains very positive. Let's be very clear. If you are dividing the market into two phases, when I say that in short term a correction may happen, that means 150 to 200 points correction, which is bound to happen because Nifty has rallied one side. So if it comes to 88, it becomes a very good buy. I still feel that Nifty has room on the upside to move, and the reasons in earlier shows also when I've come is I am a big follower of put writers, the way the base keep on shifting up. We have got a new base, that is 8500, that is for sure. And now the put writers are shifting to 86, 87s. I will be waiting very eagerly when I see the 9000 call writers completely unwinding and shifting to higher levels. That may happen in this September series or after a correction, or may not happen. But what is important is that, as you said, I think this rally is a bull run and we are expecting it to go ahead and retest lifetime highs and go above 9200 also. But for immediate short term, as I said, for traders, I'm expecting a small correction. So it's good to wait out and enter at lower levels to get a better benefits of the entry points.
Okay, Mr. Choklingam, good morning. What's your take on the markets at these levels? How soon are we going to hit those life highs?
There is some profit booking, which is quite obvious because the market has risen all the way from 23,000 Sensex to 29,000. But I am not, worried about these small corrections. Global Qs are also negative right now, so it might be on a negative mode marginally for a few more days. But as I maintained for several months, our markets are headed for a lifetime high before December 31st. Next trigger could come possibly from the new RBI governor. I firmly believe that new monetary management would give importance to growth rather than to inflation. So therefore, we can expect some conducive policies, and that trigger should take the market to greater height.
Morning, Mr. Choklingam. From an academic point of view, I can say the Reserve Bank of India will cut interest rates by 0.5% and XYZ will happen. But we all know that beyond the realm of public discussion, the Reserve Bank of India is driving a car in which when it presses the brake may or may not work, because there's a huge cash economy, there's a huge cash to check to cash economy. There's a lot of money. The problem is not with money in India. The problem is a structural adjustment between those who need money and those who have money. So whatever the RBI governor wants to do is 0.5%, at least I don't believe changes anything for India. I want to ask you, Mr. Choklingam, what is happening structurally? Because in two sectors, which is banking, the rent-seeking culture is over, but the bank stocks are still the most expensive in the world. HDFC Bank must be one of the most expensive banks. Same with technology. We are still behaving as if technology is the most charming thing in the world, whereas it's becoming like building canals or building roads in the 16th or 17th century.
Certainly, you are absolutely right in two areas. RBI, for that matter, even the government cannot do much about changing the structural aspect of, rather structural issues of the economy. It's a long-run process. But my argument was confined to the indices hitting the lifetime high. I believe cutting rate by 25 basis, even 50 basis point would do much good to the market. But as far as the economy is concerned, academically, I do believe that it's a long way to go for India. It's not that easy job. And second, coming to the perception, in fact, you raise an interesting point. It is very unfortunate that Indian equity market, the perception play a major role than the fundamentals in the short term. Ultimately, in my learning, I found out that the fundamentals only play a major role in the long term, but in the short term. So we saw about a year back, Lupin, Sun Pharma, they were darling of the market, enjoying even 35, 40 PE, and today they have contracted terribly. Same thing happens to IT stocks. Some of the IT stocks used to enjoy 30, 40 PE and all, they are commanding just 14, 15 PE on 1 day forward earning. So the sector rotation is happening, but the perceptions ensure that the punishment is much more than what they deserve. Same way, they ensure that the reward is much more than what they deserve. So that is why, in my understanding, 95% of the retail investors, they don't make money. They end up losing a lot of wealth at the end of every bull run. So it is only the smart investors who understand the difference between the perception and market fundamentals who are the one who consistently make wealth. So therefore, I hope, the point you raise is very valid and it should be debated on and off in the bull market.
Right. Mr. Shuklam, just one quick follow-through question I wanted to ask you is that in this market, we absolutely cannot do buy and hold because I wanted to mention, we built a F1 track, but JP Associates pretty much is a penny stock. GVK may have built an airport, it's a penny stock. GMR may have built an airport, it's a penny stock. I'm not seeing any follow-through from this economic growth conversation into the stocks. Actually, the stocks are behaving like they are some kind of technology app operating on some Pokemon Go. Rather than but the explanations always are economy is growing, so market is growing. I mean, sometimes I just sit back and say, is this for real? Are we really talking for real here, or is just some mumbo jumbo going on to fill time?
Very interesting issues you have raised. I mean, the point number one is that many of us, including me, we have gone wrong in 2004 to 7. Believing in India story because we had a growth exceeding even 9%. That led to all the names you have mentioned. Interestingly, I looked at their balance sheet during 2004 to 7 and the latest. In 2004 to 7, their balance sheet, if you see, the balance sheet size was only 500 crore. That means the loan was around 500 crore. And most of them have gone for even 50-fold, 70-fold jump in the debt. The debt from 500 crore became even 45,000 crore. So, unfortunately, they became too optimistic on India growth story, which did not materialize. And now, because of these banking crisis and the compulsion to repay the debt, all of them have been selling good assets because in such a bad time, the takers are there only for good assets, not for the bad assets. So after selling the good assets, what is left for the shareholders to make a wealth? Nothing is there in my view. So that is the reason for this tough stock. And secondly, you are right. I mean, the growth is not happening in a big way in the industrial economy. But always, in my view, market always behaves in a relative term. Today, I can tell you firmly, except the US economy and Indian economy, all other economies are showing severe signs of deflationary trend. Whereas you don't see severe signs of deflationary trend in India and US. That is why these two markets are, near lifetime high. Of course, we are banking on the fact that, Indian economy would turn around next 2 quarters. In case that doesn't happen, then your fear will come true. So we have to remain alerted on these, issues.
Okay, 3 minutes to go. We saw some strength also in some of those pharma majors yesterday. Hemant, what do you think was happening there? Sun, Lupin, Cipla, even DRL?
See, as I mentioned earlier also, I feel that this is the time where you will see some buying coming back in defensives. And I expect the follow-up buying to continue for next 2 to 3 trading sessions till actually the financials or they start moving up again. Especially we have picked up Aurobindo Pharma for definite reasons. One, technically it's poised to move up, and it's crossed 805, which was acting as a resistance. So now keeping a stop loss of 790, we feel 835, 840s on cards. But having said that, I think most interesting among the heavyweights could be Sun Pharma. See, this stock has been the most underperforming stock, and what we have seen is signs of short covering up coming yesterday. So if this stock manages to sustain above 810, then I think the immediate target can come as 835, 840. So Cipla has already been outperforming the market. So I think interesting would be Sun Pharma and to some extent Lupin, because these have been underperforming pharma stocks. So once they start to move up, then there will be definite more buying can be seen. But in immediate short term, I feel Oro Pharma would be a good pick for the traders, because it's backed up by with a technical breakout and with the long positions being added up.
Okay. Remember, auto ancillary tire stocks have also been interesting lately, and Motherson Sumi also may launch a QIP book by the weekend. That's about 1,500 to 2,000 crores to dilute up to 5% equity. Amtech Auto has sought out a nod for a 2,000 crore debt swap. So a couple of those in the news also this morning. On the move yesterday were the likes of Apollo Tires, for instance. Seat has already been moving. So quite a lot of buzz when it comes to some of those smaller stocks in the auto space. Okay, we've got just about a minute to go before we head in for open, and we saw quite a nice broad-based rally yesterday. It looks like today we're just about hovering around the 89.50 mark. We'll see if things pick up as the session progresses. Yesterday, of course, we saw strength in pharma as well as auto. Couple of those other heavyweights like a Tata Steel, ITC, even a Reliance did contribute to the index, and pressure, of course, on the IT front. Let's see how things shape up today. In fact, I'll get a call on both RIL and ITC from our guests as well, because we did see some strength coming in. And today, Jio will continue to be in focus on the back of its continuing feud with the incumbent telcos on the back of its rollout and where it feels it's being restricted. So that continues to be a point of focus for us. Yes Bank hasn't seen too much reaction today after that 6% cut yesterday, in pre-open at least. But we'll also track what happens there in just a matter of a few seconds. So on your screens, we should have those quotes coming in any second now. But and remember, keep an eye on the broader markets too. Lots of action continuing there. So this morning, Bharti Infratel up about 1%. Hindalco, ONGC after numbers has been looking steady. Sun Pharma and Aurobindo continuing to be top of the charts there. Okay, we've got Idea, Tata Steel, NTPC, TCS seeing marginal recovery. I mean, it's really just a mention because it's just about flat. But on the downside, and we are seeing breadth kind of turn to the negative, Yes Bank is now seeing a deeper cut, 6% again on a Yes Bank today. BHEL is down 2%. It's been seeing that knock after the initial burst post-earnings. Tech Mahindra, Tata Motors, Axis, HDFC, Indocent, Infi's down 1%, Hero. So some amount of a turnaround in some of the banks, in some of those auto names. ITC is back down around 0.7%. Adani Port, Asian Paints, no strength there. Bank of Baroda, Dr. Reddy's, M&M, ICICI. So it's pretty clear. Whatever was up yesterday, today seems to be cooling off at this point of time. Aisha, some of the cement names, all of those counters, even pharma names right now are seeing a turnaround. Reliance is just about flat. Wipro's holding out just about. We are seeing some strength in the Bharti and Idea, very, very little. BPCL is up about 2 to 0.3%, and ONGC is up about 0.5%. And HCL Tech seems to be bucking the trend in IT otherwise.
But there are 2-3 trends in the market. One trend is short covering. So what you're seeing in technology is short covering. But remember, in technology, there's more than enough supply. So every time there's short covering, you're going to run into supply zones. The two groups of stocks that are really now putting pressure on the Nifty is, of course, Yes Bank. Look, we can sit and find any interpretation, but institutional investors and investment bankers know what it means to pull an QIP out. So it's going to take a hit. I mean, it's as simple as that. So we have to live with that. And secondly, TCS has broken many supports. And yesterday, so if you're following the technicals, the stock is in, is in a tumble. So, that's what I was saying. You will see the rest of the sector doing well. Maybe the index may not reflect it, and that's what we are seeing today. But GVK, HCC, GMR, look, these stocks are running up, and they will continue to run up because there was a lot of pledge shares, and those holding the pledge at some point really need to sell off, so we'll see what happens there. Bajaj Finserv, DCB, Indian Overseas Bank, IDBI Bank, just keep your focus on financial services stocks which are not part of the index. That's where the move may be. And MBL Infrastructure, Aptech, Everest Canto was on a freeze. Everest Canto is now got a pretty strong rally coming in. And automobiles, Bajaj Auto, look, the cleanest short Sabahs in this market are automobiles. They really are very good and backed by solid fundamentals. Barriers to entry are very, very high. Maybe it just 1 or 2 days, but that's, and VRL Logistics and Gati. I can't call it a trend because it not happened for a couple of days, but it's certainly there. Mohit, any of the stocks I've mentioned, or if you've noticed something?
Well, we'll start with Gati is looking okay. It's seen a good gap up and a trade higher. We could perhaps head higher towards levels of 150 on Gati, so that could be bought with a stop loss at levels of 142.50. Also what's looking good is Castrol India. It's moved up smartly in trade today, and this can head higher towards levels of 485 to 490. This is a buy with a stop loss at 472. Cummins India also is one that's looking good on the charts and can head higher towards levels of 955 to 960. It's a buy with a stop loss at 940.
All right. Richard, what's catching your eye on opening?
Well, I think auto sector Nifty Auto Index is showing quite a good positive momentum. So I think that could remain into focus now, still remain into focus. Bajaj Auto, Hero MotoCorp, both the names would continue to do well. And also among the pharma names, I think pharma names, mid-cap pharma specifically could trend higher further from current levels. So Ajanta Pharma and Ipca Laboratories is also one of the stock which is showing good positive momentum. So mid-cap pharma names, I think one should focus on for day trading perspective.
Mr. Chocklingam, you've been in the market very long, and a qualified institutional placement is not a placement with the public. It's a placement with very sophisticated investors, institutional investors. And usually, you even before you announce you're going to do a QIP, you have a pretty decent idea that you're going to be subscribed. Now, in Yes Bank's case, they withdraw the QIP on the day it's opened. What's your thought? If the institutional investors were already committed, pull out, what does it mean for the stock? Mr. Chocklingam, this was for you.
Yeah, sorry. Very surprising, if I'm right, the reason I saw in media is that, the stock has pulled down yesterday, so they pulled out this QIP proposal. I feel this is an error on the part of the management. Because if you see Yes Bank market cap, in the last 3 months it has gone up by 25%. In the last 6 months it has gone up by 75%. After seeing such a whooping, boost to the market cap, the 5% fall should not, deter you from mobilizing this QIP, because this $1 billion would have boosted its net worth by 50%, and therefore the business also by almost a tenfold with the addition of the new capital. So even if 5-7% fall is that, they should have gone ahead with the proposal, and that would have ultimately, compensated for all the damage that happened in the single day. So ultimately, in the short to medium term, the stock would have risen, furthermore substantially. So therefore, I believe that even after today's fall, still it is down by about 8% cumulatively in 2 days, which is nothing compared to 75% rise in the market cap in the 6 months. So still, if possible, they should go ahead with the QIP. That would make a lot more benefits to the shareholders.
Right. So, Mr. Chocklingam, unless I landed in India from an isolated island or from another planet on a spaceship, it's pretty clear to me that since the history of the QIPs, the stock completely falls after the QIP, and I can go back to India Bulls, real estate, or whatever. For some reason, this explanation doesn't wash with me, because the whole purpose of the price going up is the QIP gives you a much higher price discovery, and then the price collapses. It's as simple as that. Have I missed something here?
You are absolutely right. I wish you do this interaction every time a big PIP hits the market. We have seen many stocks in the last 7-8 years. Ultimately, the gullible retail investors are the one who destroy their wealth by bidding in this QIP. You are absolutely right. And 9 out of 10 stocks, you see a massive rally, and post that they all crash. And so you are absolutely right, and I am very happy that you cover it. But I wish you cover it every time when some QIP process starts.
Okay, a few more stocks on the move today. We've got Zensar up 6.5%, Persistent, another one there. So a couple of those mid-cap software names as well. HCL Tech, of course, is looking strong today on volumes as well at this point of time. It's interesting, Hemant, on the IT front, because we saw the knock yesterday, of course, as Ashu mentioned, possibly some short covering today. But what would you do? What would be your strategy? Are there select names there that you feel could still withstand the trend overall, which is looking fairly muted right now?
See, if for the trading side, as I earlier mentioned and Ashu also mentioned, we have seen short covering coming in IT. Now, important here is that you have to be very stock specific. If you ask me, I have seen signs of stocks like HCL Tech and Infosys showing some bottom formations now. I don't think Infosys may slip below 1000 very easily. And similarly, even HCL Tech has come to us very strong bottoms of 755, 760. In fact, HCL Tech, if crosses 800, then it becomes a good buy because then it can see a run up till 845. So I'm just watching if it manages to cross 800. Whereas I have a feeling that Tech Mahindra and TCS, they are continuously remain weak. I don't see you should buy TCS unless it manages to cross 2510, because that was a very strong support which it has given away on the downside. I feel that every time you will try to see short covering, you will see fresh supply coming in. So TCS, Tech Mahindra, I will even add Wipro into it. These look weak, whereas I would be closely watching HCL Tech and Infosys. HCL Tech, if manages to cross 800, then I would be a buyer in that with a target of 840. And Infosys, it has to cross 1050 for me. But at least though these two counters are showing some signs of bottom formations or some signs where there are put writers which are emerging, which I am not seeing in the case of TCS, Tech Mahindra or Wipro for that matter.
Mr. Choklingam, just one more question. Where there is honey, there are going to be bees. And in infrastructure, there was a lot of honey about 4 or 5 years ago. So there were too many bees. But it's an established principle of all global markets that wherever there are 100 companies, like in the dot-com boom, 99 will vanish, 1 will stay. So today, when I look at telecom technology companies, there may be a Wipro, there may be a Infosys, a few, but hundreds are gone. But we have not seen that as yet in infrastructure. Still we get excited, okay, some bridge is being built, some tunnel contract is gone. How do I convert that tunnel into some passage of money to me, not just water through the tunnel?
Certainly, it's a very interesting point. The major crisis comes from the balance sheet as far as infrastructure companies are concerned. This logic is applicable to real estate also. I would suggest the retail investors to look at the one key important variable in the balance sheet. Look at the sum of inventories and receivables as a percentage of annual sales, and also the debt as a ratio of the sales. These two key parameters would avoid all possible wealth destructions. If receivables and inventories together is more than the annual sales, it is difficult to run the business and make money. If debt is more than the annual revenue, and if you assume that 10% is the interest cost, you have to make a minimum 10% margin only to pay the lenders. That too only the interest. And if it in a stressful time, making even 10% margin is a very difficult thing. Then you are into crisis. You can't pay the lender interest, you can't repay the principal, you can't pay tax to the government, you can't pay dividend to the shareholders. So I urge retail investors to look at only these two, then come to the valuation comfort. Because the valuation multiple can be tilted here and there by compromising on these three parameters of the balance sheet. So therefore, Investors, if they look at these three, I am sure, again, Indian equity market is like a six blind man touching the elephant and giving different version. I have learned another version that it is a fantastic market to create a wealth, provided, you understand the balance sheet quality, management quality, valuation comfort, and prospect for business model. So therefore, I urge investors to look at only these three key parameters, before investing in infra to make a lot of wealth in the future.
Okay, thanks Mr. Chockalingam for joining us today. Mohit, I want to just take a quick check on the telecom names before we wrap up, because there will be some amount of action unfolding there later today.
Well, as far as idea goes, it's still sideways to flat. I'd want to avoid it. Negative chart on the whole, really nothing to do out there. Bharati is coming back in trade, but again, I'm not too comfortable with the chart pattern because we've seen big cut down in the stock price. However, a couple of stocks from the mid-cap space that are catching my eye. One is Balmal Lorry. It's looking really good in the charts and has seen a good up move today. This can head higher towards levels of 760. It's a buy with a stop loss at 732. Also, RPG Life Sciences looking really good in the charts and can head higher towards levels of 510. It's a buy with a stop loss at 492. And lastly, Hindustan Petroleum. It's coming back in trade pretty strongly, and this can head higher towards levels of maybe 1280. This is a buy with a stop loss at 1255.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, Andrew Holland joining us on Market Call.